Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm World Dragon and this is the continuation of All Quiet in the Trenches. We are just 3 turns away from home leave. Will we get there without interruptions? We'll find out. We have just come back to camp. Our troops in okay condition, some good, some not too good. Let's go to our field hospital. Nurse Elizabeth wants help because her supplies are running low. No supplies. Many. Thank you so much. You're welcome. So I probably now have... I still have full bandages. It's fine. The hospital's occupancy did just drop by 1, so that's fantastic. I don't have any injured soldiers, but it's always good, because if I do suddenly now get injured soldiers, bad things will happen. A couple of artillery pieces. I probably have noticed those before. Things constantly appear or disappear without any proper documentation. It's time you finally take stock. Sure. 2 people, you say? Your unit is tasked with guard duty. That is everybody. Right. So pest control, that is one of my priorities. Really? Well, he says that. You 2 can be on guard duty. Pest control is also tiring. So I'm going to send you and Dana, because Dana is big, strong, and bold, and fantastic. Fine, we'll put you 2 there, and then you get to help with pest control. Let's see what we can do. Our guys are exhausted. Mold everywhere. Mold, rats. It's all falling apart. Get rid of it. Better safe than sorry. We will not risk getting our men poisoned. What else we got? For days now, Menk had been sitting next to us with his comrades every evening without a word and with a vacant stare. Neither discussed with them, nor did he take part in the usual evening entertainment, such as playing cards. The tasks assigned to him were also carried out in a dull and listless manner. I decided I spoke to him. In an undisturbed moment, I sat down next to him and addressed him. Is everything all right with you, Menk? He looked up at me from his empty eyes and he replied, I'm fine. Just all seems so pointless. I believe he is... Oh, he's very distant, actually. He is very courageous. He's a bit by the book. He's fairly tolerant. He's not really... I don't think he's really going to be up for... your comrades need you, if I'm perfectly honest. Or that you are defending your homelands. He's not patriotic at all. He's not unpatriotic. I don't think any of these are unpatriotic. No, that's pragmatic. That's intolerant. And that's caring. So no, he's neither, basically. So I understand your doubts. We have to persevere. But more and more it seems to be heading nowhere. Let's hope this war comes to an end soon. He straightened his soldiers. Hopefully you're right. It's only a little bit longer until this war is over. That ought to be bearable. We sat together in silence for a few more moments. Then Ment got up and wished me a good night. The following days he seemed a little less withdrawn. Maybe my words had helped him a bit. Or maybe it had just been a matter of time. And it's raining again. Or is it still raining? I'm not quite sure. We lost all of our food to mold and rats. I mean, that should, in essence, no, it doesn't get rid of the rats, which is interesting, because how I can have less food than 0, I do not know. I'm sorry, but we're waiting for fresh supplies. I can't give you much. My stockpile is almost empty. I hope it'll last you until the shipment comes in. Oh, we've got a week's worth of supplies. We have the tiniest of reprieve. Your unit is tasked with guard duty. We are able to defend our food stocks, but the rats keep coming. So we're definitely going to lose our food stocks. The tree is filled to the brim. Wow, this is trying to murder me before home leave. I mean, I can get rid of guard duty. I can't get rid of the others, though. That'll be you. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to... I'm only just into high prestige. I don't know why it's so low, but I am. Alright, so that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. I need to get rid of 2 turns to get to home leave. I've only got food for 1. And things are not looking good across the board. Pedersen had been getting drunk all evening with some of his comrades. It was already late when all of a sudden he bellowed into the crowd, "So bollocks!" The soldiers around him fell silent. Some looked over at me. It was my job to be there for him. I got up, sat down next to him, put a hand on his shoulder and said, "Soldier, you mustn't lose heart. We need you here just as much as any of your comrades. Keep it off, and tomorrow the world will already look brighter. Again." And so with that, he went for a quiet nap. We are out of food once more. Everybody is very tired of war. That's not good. At least it's not raining anymore. Hey, look on the bright side. The literal bright side. Resupply came in. Woo! Alright, we survived. How can I help you? There will be more work for you before you went home. My group is assigned with guard duty, but that is all I seem to have. We've gotten rid of the rats. That is also good. Okay, we've stabilized. Just before home leave, we've stabilized. Everybody is very tired of war, but again, hopefully we can remove that with a bit of home leave. And so, a few men were washing their cooking utensils. "Can't we let a few women come to the front for this?" one of them quipped. "Women are not naturally better at dishwashing," I admonished. The others looked back and forth, and certainly between me and their comrade. During these times, they especially showed what they were capable of. "Women do far more important things at home," I continued. "They fill all the gaps that we men have left behind, and I'm not talking about them cleaning anywhere." This wiped the smiles off their faces. Some looked at me perplexed. That was understandable. Such words were surely completely new to some of them. When I noticed Meg's look, however, I had the feeling that his astonishment had a flavor of its own. He didn't look confused so much as if a new world had been revealed to him. Well, he was still very young. Maybe he would actually live to see how the world changed in that respect. Oh, Menk. Oh, Menk, you and your backstory. Okay, once again, we went down to 3 weeks worth of rations. That's the weird thing that was happening before. We'll see if that keeps happening. Someone did mention it was about troops coming and going, but we haven't had anybody to the hospital or anywhere else. So that shouldn't be the case here. I wonder if that's why I ran out of food as well. Although I did have rats and mold, so that's why I didn't question it then. The day my men and I had been looking forward to for weeks had finally arrived. Our home leave began today. The whole morning was filled with hustle and bustle until we finally reached our train amidst such much fanfare. Now I was sitting here, looking out of the window and could hardly believe it. We were really going home. Everything seemed so unreal to me. The passing landscape with those pretty little villages, the clear sky with scattered clouds, and the warmth of the sun on my face. It all seemed so removed from our past experiences, as if it had just been a bad dream. And yet, I had to think about Linux. He hadn't made it. I hadn't managed to get him through this. How many more would have to give their lives in this war? How many of my people, and how many other soldiers on both sides of the trenches? The war was not yet over, and who knew how much longer it might still go on. Now we had a few weeks of rest, but what would it be like to have to go back to the front afterwards? Saddled with everything we now knew about the war, everything we had seen and experienced, all the horror, the misery, the suffering. I gave a heavy sigh and closed my eyes. Those were thoughts for another day. Now was a time for home, family, and living life while it lasted. Unless your name's Linux. And so we go home and fast forward through what I believe is a month of home leave. And right back we are. A month had passed since we had left the front for our home leave. In the past few weeks, I had been eyed like a fairground attraction back home. Everyone in the village had wanted to shake my hand. People kept calling me comrade, as if all of them had been at the front with me. As much as I had longed for home, everything had seemed so wrong to me. How was it that barely a year ago I had fitted so effortlessly into this life? The quiet landscape with the small, steadily gushing stream, little cottages, the regular, chatty bustle in the streets on sunny days. It had been so natural for me to be part of all the small concerns and joys of this everyday life. And how suddenly everything became so dreadfully real with all the questions people were asking. Everyone wanted to hear as many stories from the front as possible. The more gruesome, the better. They wanted to hear about heroic deeds and how brave we were and whether we would make it to Paris soon and why this ghastly positional warfare had been going on for so long. My answers sounded hollow to my own ears. Anything I said would have made the time in the field more of an irrefutable truth and torn bloody holes into this cozy home atmosphere. So I remained silent and a stranger. What would it be like once the war was over? I was almost glad to return to the front, to my men and the daily routine that had become so strangely familiar to me. Even from a distance, I recognized my men by the way they walked when they boarded the train. And yet the home leave had confronted me with so many things that I had previously pushed aside, and suddenly it all seemed terribly pointless. Back at our camp, I tried in vain to shake off the impressions from home in order to somehow move on. And we're back! So we've got a couple that have gone down to well rested. Everybody's gone down to well rested. The hospital is no longer full. We have a few weeks more rations. That is actually what we were on before we decreased before. And it's also weird how, unless it's just it does go up when you get back from home leave, like it resets you. Weird how it potentially goes back up. We are all in an excellent mood. They are well rested. They're no longer nauseated or dejected. Lots. I often thought of you and my comrades here when I was on home leave. It's amazing how quickly you get used to everything here. I just quickly say hello to the others. You go and do that. Ram looks depressed. Hopefully this quiet will last another couple of weeks. Have you heard, Herr Unteroffizier? Lots of action in Verdun. Some troops from our sector have been withdrawn to support the attack there. We'll do our part by taking on their duties. For the time being, Herr Major ordered us on the defensive. Prepare yourself. We'll spend a lot of time in the trenches in the next few months. Nice of you to join us again. While you were resting, we didn't take a break. I expect your full attention to your duties. Is there anything else? These villagers are suspect. Go do a patrol. Yeah, nope, it's not looking too bad. Now, I am interested, though. Still very tired of war. That did not decrease on home leave. Interesting. I thought, you know, obviously, well, actually, technically, if you think about it, it might be a thing that you could argue would make it worse. You know, you finally get to go home, you get to be reminded of life, what is supposed to be normal life, although many of them very much have to say 10, 11, 12 months in the trenches would have very much felt strange after being home and being back to normal life. But I wonder if that would technically make you more or less tired of the war. Whether you would calm down a bit, have what it sounds, get over it a little bit, you know, start to relax a little bit before having to come back, or whether it would in fact remind you of all the things that you are now in fact missing. Let me know in the comments down below if you're currently listening to this at this stage. Which way do you think it would go? Do you think you would get worse or better? That's it next turn. I hope I did assign some people to that job. One evening, Pedersen came back to camp with a whole crate worth of food. He placed it with the rest of our stock and wandered off, whistling and lost in thought. When our eyes met, he hesitated for a brief, unsure moment before muttering a friendly greeting. Didn't mention the food. Several trucks carrying supplies had arrived in the early afternoon. These soldiers curiously gathered around the motorized vehicles. Trucks were a rare sight here at the front, but we were told that they would now occasionally replace the tried and tested horse-drawn carts. Bram was in the process of explaining the exact type of vehicle and its advantages and disadvantages to some of his comrades when Hennick, in his pragmatic manner, ordered the group of soldiers surrounding the trucks to help him unload them. The cargo also caused quite a stir among the men. Boxes full of new steel helmets lay there, dull and grey. When they thought no one was watching, some of my men started pulling them out of the boxes. My mother could make a great soup in something like that, commented Lotz on his new headgear. Your mother makes soups in these piss pots, Dano quipped. Menk had put one on and wiggled his head around. The trim of the helmet slid so far down his face that you could hardly see his eyes. Dana tapped him on the helmet. "Hello. Hello, Mr. Turtle. Is anyone home?" he said with a laugh. Put that back. It's not a toy. I instructed the men. Hennig had his hands full supervising the unloading and then planning the orderly distribution to everyone without my men messing around. When we sat together later, all we talked about were the new helmets. Fran knew a surprising amount of details about them and contributed to a lively discussion. I really hoped that these new helmets would offer my men better protection than the old Pickelhauben, which were mostly made of felt or leather. Under Officer, the field intendant seemed rather irate when he approached me. "One of your men stole from me. Pedersen took a whole crate of food from my storehouse." "What makes you think that?" "One of the soldiers saw him take it. He just thought everything was in order until I questioned him on the hunt for my missing supplies. He explained to me. He was calm and composed, but looked at me expectantly. None of my men would ever do something like that," I assured the field intendant, even though I could vividly remember the evening when Pedersen had returned to camp with a crate of food he'd never bothered to explain. "I've got a witness, and you're still excusing your subordinate." The officer seemed stunned by my brazen denial. "You know what? I don't need this kind of trouble. I won't start something over a single crate of food, but rest assured I'll remember this, Herr Unteroffizier." With these angry words, he turned around and stomped off. Again, I'm not gonna lie, the reason I did... Interesting, that ruined... I suppose he is one of my superiors, isn't he? Of course. I didn't think of that. Prisoners of war in camp. Ask for more work, accept. You two get away with prisoner of war duty, and especially Pedersen. You can go, guys can go dig trenches to attempt to repair my reputation. Next turn. Because it will stop me getting extra jobs, so it's definitely worth it. Some soldiers had gone off to have a good time in the village tavern when Smitbauer came up to me indignantly. "The moral decay in this troop is unbearable," he said. "Sodomy, alcoholism, and depraved activities." He looked horribly disgusted. "If I may say so, under officer, even between man and man there is..." He could not say it. "Are you the vice squad?" I asked. Smitbauer was irritated for a moment, but then he just kept talking. "This will result in the degeneration of the country, I'm telling you." I was getting angry day after day. "We must already be pretty degenerate by now," I said through clenched teeth. My anger burst out of me. "Look around you, man. What is it we are doing here? Do you know how many people have already died? Every day we're doing human things here, and you're upset about what's happening in the tavern." Smitbauer was shocked. He turned as white as a sheet. "You are no longer a patriot," he gasped shakily. "There will be consequences for you." He turned and walked away. Okay, so yes, we have earned a bit of our prestige back. That's good. It's very, very good. Well rested removed, grief removed. Changed to neutral. And Bram is now somewhat jaded. Interesting. The latrine is filled to the brim. Oh, Dana. I consider you redeemed of your previous lapses. Good. Oh, Dana, oh, Dana, oh, Dana. You bring me such news, and well, bad things happen. An unusually large number of my men were sitting together that evening, playing cards or talking quietly. I, too, had preferred the company of others. The mood was subdued. 2 years ago, the war began with the Sarajevo assassination. It was a sad anniversary, one that many of my men, myself included, found difficult to bear. Smitbauer dropped his cards on the table and suddenly said loudly, "Actually, we could be glad that things finally got off the ground back then. I mean, it was unbearable. Now we can at least do something for our country instead of just waiting for something to finally happen." Irritated, Pedersen also lowered his cards. "You think this is better? That's the same talk we heard back then. A little war now, a brave stand for the Vaterland, and we'll be in Paris by Christmas eating foie gras. And where are we now? We'll probably still be lying here in the mud next Christmas, with nothing but Kommissbrot and the fear that soon another one of us will bite the dust." I listened and didn't get involved. A heated discussion broke out among my men. They rarely got as political as they did tonight. A conflict over a small country in the Balkans had sparked a wildfire 2 years ago, and it was still raging today, with fighting now taking place even on islands in the Pacific and the savannas of German East Africa. Who could say how long this would continue? What horrors still lay ahead? Alma Fram was poring over a loosely stapled stack of papers while the other men played cards or rested. When he noticed me looking, he explained proudly, "A bit of education, Herr Unteroffizier. I was able to get this preliminary version from my colleague, Alfred Adler, during my home leave." I asked, interested. "A scientific publication?" I asked with interest. Yes, despite his military service, my colleague Alfred Adler seems to have found the time to work on his publication. It deals with the effect of war on children's upbringing and the role of mothers and fathers in this context. I nodded appreciatively. Encouraged by this, he continued. According to Adler, women often try to live up to their husband's ideas about child rearing, and they continue to do so even in times of war, with the result that the upbringing of children remains strongly influenced by their fathers. It is therefore completely absurd that many people now blame these poor women when young people go astray. I sat down next to him. Fram was clearly delighted by my interest in the subject. We talked for a long time about Adler and Fram's thoughts on the matter. He feels like he belongs. A bit of change of well rested. It is harvest time. Might be a good thing to do harvest time this year because... Have your people ready? It's back to the trenches. I guess I won't be doing harvest time this year. Yeah. Oh, wow. Didn't refill my ammunition, just gave me just enough. I think he may be a bit salty still from me stealing that crate of food. Well, we are going to go and leave this episode there, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a shorter one. But just before we jump back into the trench phase, I reckon we're going to end up in a fight as well, which we will push through in the next episode. Like I said, we will end this one here. And so I hope you have all enjoyed it. We have stepped our way through home leave. We are all the way into July, although we did actually go from May to June, so we're about a month past home leave. And so, until we see you again, as per always, I truly do hope that you will manage to stay safe, happy, and healthy.